Hello, I'm Grace and I'm an alcoholic. I'm struggling this morning and I kind of just want to go out and just walk for the day. Do you know when you just want to wander, just get out of your head?
My head just can talk to me all the time. You don't want to be an addict. You're not an addict. You are an addict. I am an addict.
People with addictions, they can't do it on their own.
To be able to change the lives of the young women that come through these doors and make that difference is just the most wonderful thing, really, in Amy's memory.
After a high-profile addiction to drugs and alcohol, Amy Winehouse died when she was 27. Last year, her family set up a home for young women fighting addiction, the only centre of its kind. We've been given exclusive access and spent time with the first women to live there.
Who gave me this job?
Every Monday, the women eat breakfast together.
Some of the issues the girls have is like eating disorders and the fact that like we're so busy that we tend to not get a lot of time to spend with each other. So I suggested it and then all the other girls said it was great. I think it makes everyone less angry. I feel like one of them ladies that has to curtsy.
The house takes in young women for up to 2 years after they've been through rehab. It helps them stay clean while they take their first steps without drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, I feel a bit like not really here or there today. I just feel a bit floaty, which is all right. My head just can talk to me all the time, and you don't want to be an addict. You're not an addict. You are an addict. You are an addict. I am an addict. I know I'm an addict.
Hello, my name's Grace. I'm 19, I'm a recovering alcoholic and I'm a year and a month sober.
The youngest member of the house, Grace, had a difficult upbringing.
So I'm going to have duck egg in the front room and then a wall of glitter.
She went into care when she was 13 and then moved around homeless hostels.
I've never decorated a house, so this is a first. It started out, I know that I had my first drink at 8 and by kind of like 12 I was sneaking around and doing things that I shouldn't have been doing. Between 13 and 14 I went into care and that's kind of where it took off and I could be more sneaky about it because I didn't have my parents around. And it was a way of coping. I did it when I could. And then obviously I went into my youth hostels and that was where it just like rocketed. Like I didn't have anyone to say you shouldn't be doing this or you shouldn't be doing that. It was habit.
And so what point did you think, I'm an alcoholic?
It was only in November 2015 where I took 57 antidepressants on a litre of vodka and a litre of Disaronno and nearly died. I woke up frothing at the mouth and I was terrified. They were detoxing me in resus in hospital and they told me it's a waiting game now of whether we see that your organs are failing or not. So it was 4 days of me sitting in resus hoping and praying that I wasn't dying. I just wanted to get well.
So since you made that decision, how has it been? What were those for? That's all right, take a moment, it's fine.
I think you forget how real it feels. And so when you talk about it again, it's like, that was my life, that's not, I think I say my story so much that it doesn't feel real. And then when you tell it again, it's like, that's how I was living. And I kind of just accepted that's how I was living.
Does it shock you to remember that that was your life?
Definitely. I think I was stuck in it for so long that it was like, I didn't know a way out. And then you forget when you're sitting where I am today and I'm that, not that long sober, but I've made it so far that you forget that my life was sitting in a homeless hostel planning how to kill myself.
I get scared being all right.
Each morning, the women must go to one of these check-ins.
We're strong.
Yeah.
So the house knows they're safe and well.
Morning, Judith.
Judith, hi Judith.
I'm an addict. Yeah, I feel all right. I feel content.
I'm struggling this morning. I just feel like I didn't get enough sleep and I'm tired. And I kind of just want to go out and just walk for the day. Do you know when you just want to wander, just get out of your head?
Just for today, I will strive to forgive rather than to be forgiven.
I will try to act in such a way that I feel worthy of self-love. And that kind of stuff is a way of showing yourself that you're learning to forgive yourself.
Well, that's the major point, isn't it?
That's what it is, yeah.
It's about forgiving yourself, which is and that's very hard.
It is. But, you know, that whole cycle of guilt, shame, use. Guilt, shame, use. Hi, I'm Judith, I'm 26. I'm a recovering addict and I'm 30 months clean. My son is 7 and my daughter's 5 and she's going to be 6 in April. They are a massive motivator, massive. Also quite fearful around being a mother because looking back, I've never really done it properly. I find it hard to believe still that I have 2 children.
Judith started using drugs as a teenager and tells me she'd take whatever was on offer.
Most of the time I didn't even ask what it was. It was like, take that,
You didn't
sniff
care?
that, I didn't care.
This then escalated a few years later.
One thing I always wanted was never to get married and never to have children. So I got married and had children.
How old were you?
I was 18.
And how was your life then?
I was very depressed. I was very bitterly, like suicidal depressed. My world basically collapsed. You know, the drugs took over.
Can you tell us what drugs?
Cocaine. Eventually I started smoking it, but...
So crack cocaine?
Yeah. October 2014 was the last time I lived with my kids. And
What's that been like for you?
it's like hell. And the thing that made me cry out for help was a phone call I got from the social worker. Oh, I can't remember, was it my solicitor, saying that they're going to start adoption proceedings for my kids. From that day, from when that happened, that was it. I kind of changed my life completely. Yeah. Literally, I think they've what kept me alive.
Hello. Can we have a tour?
Yeah, of course.
Alice is recovering from a ketamine addiction.
And this is my favourite room. This is my living room.
Each woman gets their own flat within the house, which they pay for using their housing benefit. But it comes with some rules. No drugs and alcohol, no overnight guests, and they must agree to random drug tests.
We do 6 of them a month, just randomly. If we suspect there's something going on, we might do a few more. So I'm going to give Grace a call and ask her to come down. Hello.
Hi.
Guess what time of year it is?
Oh, drugs is
Time of the month.
So just be.
Yep. Wow, look at that 0.
Hey.
Yeah, check you out. Okay, so I'm peeling off the label and it's all coming up negative. Zero.
Awesome.
All negative.
Really?
Yeah, all negative. Yeah, I mean, it didn't come up to any levels that came up.
I mean, I know I haven't taken any drugs, but I thought that my medication might come up.
What's striking when you're here is how difficult it is to be in recovery. Some of the girls here have been through rehab before, but without the skills and the environment to start a different life, they've relapsed.
That's sort of where the seed began.
That's what motivated Amy's stepmother, Jane, to set up this service.
We met people in treatment who were scared to death of what was going to happen when they finished their treatment. For a lot of them, all they could think about is, if I have to go back to where I was before, you know, I'm just not going to stand a chance. And in fact, a lot of the women that weren't completing their treatment, it was for that reason, because they couldn't see how they were going to manage their life out of it.
Have you ever had false nails?
Yeah, I used to be girly.
What do I like about living here? To have your own property where nobody's like using drugs or drinking. It's great. And plus I've got all the girls. Like, they're all amazing.
We all want to be part of society and like contribute and just be normal people.
Did you feel that wasn't possible in the places you were before?
I did. Yeah. I felt like it was
like to live in a hostel where you're paying nearly £400 a week rent. Like I know, and the worst thing was like it was one room, and the support that was meant to be offered wasn't there. When you're like your room is next door to somebody that is selling drugs, you can never get well in a sense. You know, you're always stuck in the conundrum of, do I go next door and go back to my old habits, or do I go to a meeting? I was living a life of recovery in a using and drinking world.
It's not good enough to just be plonked in a dry house and expect to deal with all this stuff, in my opinion. You need a lot more support, a lot more love and care, and you need that time to heal.
Do you think this place is keeping you clean?
Yes, 100%. I think so. For me, one of the things I've always kind of lacked in my life is feeling safe. I've never felt safe, ever. And here I do.
As part of the programme, the women must take part in activities outside the house that will help them stay clean and prepare them for living by themselves. It can be going back to school or starting volunteer work, or in Judith's case, finding a passion.
I can really zone out and just do something that I absolutely love. My manager from one of my rehabs, he said to me, Judith, you've got to find something that gives you an adrenaline buzz, something that gets you excited that doesn't involve like drink, drugs or sex, right? And he was like, I'm looking forward to finding out what it is. So I found something. I found that exactly the thing that I need to kind of keep me grounded.
These are the sorts of skills that are going to help us, you, in life. These are not...
A lot of work is put into preparing the women for a life after Amy's place.
Where do I want to be? What kind of job do I want to have? What do I want to be making money from? Do I want to use my own experience to help others, maybe?
I want to be a forensic psychologist. So that's like the steps towards that.
For me, this is really important, because if I didn't have this kind of setting or didn't have kind of a direction in my own head, I don't think I could last this.
It takes a lot of effort to be in recovery. It just, I don't know if you'll agree, but it takes a lot more effort to be in addiction.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
I would, yeah. It's exhausting. And it's relentless. I'd much rather do this. It's much easier.
But you can tell it's just done like one square and the tin's gone. It's $4.99 a tin as well, like I wouldn't mind. But
There are very few recovery houses that offer this level of support, and this is the only one dedicated to helping young women. The Amy Winehouse Foundation wants others to realise that this type of service can save lives.
Does it make a difference to you that this is Amy's place?
I think it's quite sad that you have to lose somebody in order for them to realise that we need this kind of help. You know, like, we're not the only ones in addiction that are young. You know, there's 16 beds here, and, you know, I know so many people that are in addiction and can't get help.
Hey, sugar.
How's your week been?
It's been a really busy week and I'm exhausted. To the point I've just forgot whose coffee's which.
Have you had any wobbles?
Yeah, I had one. I was on the way to a meeting and I decided that I was going to go and drink. So I just stood outside a pub and then kind of actually bumped into one of the guys from the meeting. So then it was like, oh God, I actually have to come to the meeting and stay on this. So yeah, that was difficult.
Since moving into the house, Grace has found an unexpected hobby in woodwork. She comes here every week, and today she's finishing restoring an old dressing table.
I'm known for not finishing things. I feel like now I can kind of do anything, really. Like, I still get frightened about doing stuff, but now I feel like I'm more determined to do things. Now I know what it feels like to really finish something. Now I want to go ahead and do lots more.
How do you feel about your future?
Positive, really positive. Like, as long as I don't go back to that life, as long as I keep moving one foot from the other, I'd like to think I have that. I can get that future that I want, have my gym, have my kids. Yeah, life will come up, but I'll be able to deal with it. You know, I'm not going to go back to the bottle, go back to using.
I think the girls here, they're going to get to a point where they're ready to move on, and I'm really excited to see that. To see that point where they go, do you know what, I don't need to live here anymore, I don't need the support, and we'll have new arrivals, and you know, I think we'll just keep growing from strength to strength.
To be able to change the lives of the young women that come through these doors and make that difference, and you know, give them the tools to be able to maintain that, you know, hopefully for the rest of their lives, is just the most wonderful thing really in Amy's memory.
So since you've been here last week, I've finally finished off my decorating, and I think it's been a lot more hard work than I thought it would be. I think I'm kind of nervous, but I'm also like really excited for the first time in a long while. Before it was very like black and there wasn't anything that I was looking forward to, and now I realise like I've got a really long life ahead of me.